Hey there. I wanted to give some tips on oil painting. So like that right there is an oil painting. Sort of abstract. I did that probably 4 or 5 years ago. But I thought I would give some tips because I had introduced someone to oil painting recently, and they thought it would be maybe like acrylic paintings or something. But no, it's quite a bit different than painting with acrylics or watercolors. It's its own animal. Oil painting is its own thing. Um, I don't know if it really shows up. My hands, I got paint. Like that's paint right there. One thing I'll just say, try to get as little paint. Now, if you're willing to just make a mess, if you got your own studio space and you can just make a mess, then go for it. Make a mess. But if you can't make a mess, these are my recommendations for you. Try to get as little paint on your hands as possible. That's the first thing, because it gets everywhere. Like if a dab of paint gets here, and I dab it somewhere else, it can get everywhere. Oil paints take a long time to dry. So yeah, they take a long time. They can take like a week or more to dry, pretty easily. Like, yeah. Well, here's something that I painted about a week ago. Well, this was painted about a week ago, and there's red paint right here. It's still not dry. So I mean, they can take a long time to dry. And so yeah, don't try to be as clean as possible. I'll take tissues and I'll use tissues because I'm either cheap or lazy, and I'll just use tissues to clean off like whatever brushes and other stuff. Now this is probably not how you'll learn to paint in school. If you go to like school, I've sort of had to make my own methods. So like yeah, I'll take tissues and I'll wipe off my hands and brushes on tissues to try and minimize the mess. I really don't want to get I don't really want to get my space messy at all. It's a very high priority for me. So I try to take sort of extra precautions. I used to use like brush cleaner. I hardly ever do that now. I use the brushes and I just try to wipe them off real good and just get as much paint off as possible. And then when they dry, just like, where's this somewhat clean one? So like this brush, actually this I need to do more with. I don't know why, but like this brush, when I first used it, I'm sure I went like this with tissues and stuff, and this is like not getting anything off. But right now it's crappy. It's all stuck together, so I need to break it apart. I try to get as much paint off as possible, and do like this to it. This may not be good for it. I don't care. These are my brushes. I'm trying to be efficient here and like not make a mess. And also, the whole using like paint cleaner or brush cleaner can be sort of risky in itself. So doing this sort of thing to get the bristles nice and soft again. And it's a decent little brush. I got this. This is I won't say the brand, but it's small. It's a little 6 size. It's had quite a bit of use. Even if I trash it, I feel like I've gotten my money's worth out of it. And painting's just really enjoyable. So if you can make money off your paintings, great. If you can sell them, great. But if you just do it because you like it, all the better. So ideally you can combine them both. So you can bring home the bacon and do enjoyable, artistic, creative things. See, and this brush is already in about 100 times better state than it was before. It's soft now. Maybe you can't see that so well, but it's soft. It was all stuck together and hard. But just by working it a little bit, since I tried to get as much, this is my theory, I tried to get as much paint out as I humanly could possibly do before I just let it be and let it sit. And then now I can work it and get all the bristles apart and it's ready to go again. So it's like sort of my own reloading process, so to speak, for brushes and whatnot. And I pretty much treat all my brushes this way. And of course I have paint knives, which you need. I just make sure that I wipe them off real clean. And I have some metal ones. I need to get some more metal ones. That's what I need to do. Yeah, just make sure I wipe them off real clean. In fact, that's what I'll probably go do today. I'll get some more paint knives. And I pretty much treat all my brushes like that. So yeah. So the tips so far I've given: I use a lot of tissues. I use a lot of rags that I'll just use until they're useless, and I'll throw them away. Use rags. Try to get as little paint on your hands as possible. Make sure you put ample stuff down, so you can make a mess on the stuff you put down, whether it's like newspaper or other canvases or you know, whatever, cardboard or whatever, make sure you put enough down so you can make a little bit of a mess. Also, I've recently gotten into paint pens. Now these things pop. These are bright. This is actually, it shows up on yellow on my screen, but it's more of an orange. It's like orange. It's called, the color should be orange. Anyway, yeah, orange. So, whoops. Um, so, yeah, so those pop like oils. They don't mix as well. You can't really mix them, in my experience so far with them, they don't blend nearly as much as like oils do, but they're just a lot cleaner and they still pop. So my plan right now, actually, and I can't really pick any up, is basically, so this is an example of me using the paint pens. You know, pretty bright. This camera doesn't do it justice. But so what I'm planning to do now, and I have some drying that are almost ready, probably in another, because the paint's pretty thin. I basically prime it with oils, you know, and then I'm going to paint over it with paint pens and do designs and writings or whatever else I feel like. So that's sort of my process there. So yeah, I hope these were useful to anybody who's doing oil paintings or wants to be doing oil paintings or anything else, or using paint pens. So these are my tips. I'll probably end it about here. So thanks for watching. I'm impressed if you've seen all this so far. Please subscribe to this channel, share this video, visit my websites, and watch my other videos. So thanks a lot.